Hello everyone, a burrito. Simply put, Mexican shawarma. Today, I will make it 1,000 times bigger. But first, let's cut it open and see what's inside. On the outside, there's a tortilla, and then a layer of white sauce, fried minced chicken, cheddar cheese, and lettuce. Now, how does it taste? Delicious. The sauce is sour cream based, and the minced chicken is slightly spicy with beans. Now everything is clear. We're gonna head to the supermarket for the ingredients we need to make the giant burrito. First, we'll buy a lot of charcoal because we're gonna make a giant tortilla. Eight packs should be enough. We'll move on. To light the charcoal easily, we'll grab plenty of fire starters, 18 packs. For the huge tortilla, we'll need a whole sack of flour and a large bottle of oil. A big pack of baking powder, cheddar cheese, a whole chunk. And for the sauce, buckets of sour cream. Next, we'll head to the bread section. Here we'll need to grab some tortillas. Even though we're making a giant 2-meter tortilla, the small ones will serve as reinforcement. We'll need a lot of those too. For the filling, we'll need an entire bucket of tomato paste, also Mexican hot sauce for spiciness. And most importantly, the filling will consist of minced chicken. But the store doesn't have enough of that, so we're just going to get chicken fillets instead. We'll need a whole 70 kilos. There. We'll also need canned corn, 3 large cans, and 6 cans of beans. Now, to the final section, the vegetable department. Here we'll need purple cabbage, also some Chinese cabbage because we'll need plenty of salad for the giant burrito. We'll bag some carrots, 3 bags in total. Red onions will also go in the salad. Garlic. We'll need a lot of it. A crate of fresh lime. A couple bundles of chili peppers. And that's it. We've gathered the ingredients to make our giant burrito. Now we'll head to the checkout and place everything on the conveyor belt. Once scanned, we'll pack everything into bags. All of this cost $700. Then we'll load it into the trunk. And head to the studio. We'll start the preparation with the most important part, the chicken. Using scissors, we'll open the packaging. Drop the chicken into a container. And open the remaining packages. Done. The chicken breasts have almost completely filled an 80-liter container. We'll make the mincemeat ourselves using a professional grinder. We turn it on and feed the chicken inside. Luckily, they fit perfectly, so we don't need to cut the breasts. The first bowl is filled with minced chicken. We'll pour it into a large container and continue grinding. And that's it. Our chicken is ready, but we still need to prepare a lot of garlic for the filling. We're simply going to crush it with our hands. This makes it easy to remove the cloves from the skins. Then toss the peeled cloves into a bowl. We use the same method to peel the rest of the garlic. All done. But that's not all. Now we need to mince it. We're going to do that with this handy tool and crush all the garlic. As the garlic piles up, we're going to transfer it into a bowl and keep going. Finally, our garlic is ready. Next, we're going to move on to the canned beans, which will also be part of the filling, and open them with a can opener. All finished. We also open the remaining cans in advance so we wouldn't waste time later. Next, for the filling, we're going to need tomato paste and Mexican sauce. Now comes the question, what should we use to fry such a huge amount of filling? I only have a 30-liter cauldron, but just the minced chicken alone takes 70 liters. So for this video, I bought a brand new cauldron. 125 liters, easily enough to fit everything we need. It cost us $500, and now we'll set it up on the stove. But here's another problem I didn't foresee. The stove is too small for this cauldron, and most of the volume on the sides won't heat up. That's inefficient. We need a solution that doesn't involve buying a whole new stove. So I went to my friend's workshop confident that he could help me out. He suggested making an expansion stand for the stove. First, he created a digital blueprint of the necessary parts on the computer. Then, he started up the CNC machine, and the process began. Using a laser, he first cut out the air ducts. Next, he began cutting out the larger parts. There, all the parts are cut. Now we insert the long piece into the bending machine and start it up. As the sheet passes through the machine, it gradually bends. We need to roll it through several times until the edges meet and the piece becomes a perfect circle. Now we can transfer the workpiece to the welding table. We arm ourselves with the welder and weld one part to the other. We attach a narrow metal cone here and weld it thoroughly. And now our stove expander is ready. The labor and materials cost us $200. Now we can head home. However, since the metal is exposed, it's going to rust quickly, so we need to paint it. First, we're going to degrease the surface using white spirit to ensure the paint adheres well. Next, we take a special heat-resistant paint that can withstand up to 800 degrees Celsius. We shake the can thoroughly, and now we can start painting. We need to apply 2 coats of paint, and now the stove expander is fully ready. It's time to install it. Finally, let's set up our massive cast iron cauldron. And now it will heat effectively from the fire. But we still can't cook in it. It just came from the factory and it's coated with industrial oil, so we need to burn it off first. This requires a very strong flame, so we're going to chop some firewood into smaller kindling. Done. Now we'll light the fire using fire starters. and fill the entire stove with firewood. Now we need to achieve maximum flame and keep it going for a full 5 hours. Due to the high temperature, the factory oil starts to burn off and the cauldron turns white. We flip it onto its side so that it turns white on the other side as well. It worked. We continue burning the cauldron on all sides until the entire inner surface becomes white. This took us a full 5 hours to achieve this. Now we can remove it from the stove. Once it cools down, we're going to move it closer to the sink. We need to wash it completely using dish soap. And then dry it thoroughly with a towel. And then we're going to place the cauldron back on the stove. Next, we're going to pour some sunflower oil and coat the entire inner surface of the cauldron with it. This oil should burn and create a kind of non-stick layer on the cauldron. After that, we need to remove the remaining burnt oil. Now the cauldron is finally ready to serve its purpose. We pour in clean oil, the one we're going to cook with. Now let's start with the minced chicken. We're going to bring it over to the cauldron. To avoid splattering the oil, we need to gradually add the minced chicken into the cauldron using a spatula. Then at the end, we can pour the rest straight into the container. To prevent the minced chicken from burning, we need to stir it with a skimmer. We kept the fire fully loaded with wood the entire time because the amount of minced chicken is huge. After 10 minutes of stirring, the minced chicken releases its juices. From this point, we're going to stir it less frequently and wait for the liquid to evaporate. After 1 hour, the minced chicken is finally cooked. Now it's time to add the beans. But first, we're going to drain the excess liquid from them. There's a lot of it. We're going to take all 6 cans outside and pour them into the cauldron. We're going to stir the beans together with the minced chicken. Next up is the tomato paste. We're going to open it and pour in the full 5 liters into the cauldron. And now we need to add the minced garlic. And to give it that Mexican aroma, I'll need lime zest, that thin green layer on the outside. We're going to grate the zest from each lime. And then transfer the zest into a small bowl. We're going to add 1/3 of the total lime zest. For spiciness, we're going to add chili paste. As well as Mexican sauce. And of course, we're going to add a generous amount of salt. Now we just need to mix everything together thoroughly. Once the filling becomes smooth and uniform, it's ready. We're going to transfer it into a clean container using a spatula. There's a lot of filling, so we're going to use another container as well. And then cover both containers with lids. And with that, the meat filling is done. Now let's move on to making the giant tortilla. We're going to start by pouring 30 kilograms of flour into a large bowl. Add salt for better flavor. We're going to use an entire pack of baking powder. This will make our tortilla softer with small air bubbles. Then we're going to mix the dry ingredients together. And then add 1 liter of oil to the mixture. And a whole 17 liters of boiling water. First, we're going to stir slowly with a spatula to ensure no water remains on the surface. Then we're going to knead it more thoroughly using a construction mixer. The dough is very thick, and I can already smell plastic because the mixer is about to burn out. But it managed to get the job done. After about 30 minutes, I finished kneading. Whew! The dough turned out awesome. It is soft and smooth and not sticky. But here comes the next question. What should I use to roll out the dough into a thin 2-meter wide sheet? Well, to solve this, I specially ordered 2 giant aluminum sheets, each 2 by 2 meters, costing me $600. We're going to need to cut one of them into a perfect circle, and my dad is going to help us with that. First, we're going to mark the center using a large compass, and then we're going to scratch out a guideline into the sheet. Next, we're going to cut the circle out with an angle grinder. This was my first time seeing aluminum being cut, and I was shocked that there were no sparks flying from the grinder, unlike with other types of metal. The circle is cut, though not perfectly. We'll fix that using this disc sander. It quickly grinds down the excess aluminum to our marked line. Finally, we smooth out the rough edges with a file to prevent cutting our hands later. All done. The perfect aluminum circle, 2 meters in diameter, is ready. It wouldn't fit in our car, so we had to order a cargo taxi. We're going to load it up. And then head back to the studio. Upon arrival, we immediately push the main table closer to the countertop so that we can lay the aluminum sheet on top. They're still covered in factory film, so we need to remove that. Then, using dish soap, we're going to thoroughly wash the surface of both sheets. Now, we don't need the circular sheet, so we're going to move it aside to keep it out of the way. We're going to shift the square to the center, and this is where we're going to roll out the dough. We're going to generously dust the aluminum sheet with flour on all sides. And place the dough in the center and sprinkle some flour on top of that as well. First, we spread the dough out with our hands. Then we start rolling it with a rolling pin. After an hour, we had a large sheet of dough. And after 2 hours, we had it rolled out to cover the entire surface of the aluminum sheet. However, the shape of the tortilla left something to be desired. That's where the circular sheet comes in handy. We place it on top and cut out a perfect circle using the pizza cutter. We take away the leftover dough. And lift the top sheet, revealing a flawless giant tortilla. To prevent it from drying out, we're going to cover it with plastic wrap. And then for transportation, we're going to roll the dough around a large pipe. We're also going to wrap this with plastic from the outside since it's currently raining. And then we're going to head to the stove with the dough roll. We're going to be frying the giant tortilla in this massive setup today. We're going to cook it over charcoal, so we need to create a special frame for the coals using steel angles. My dad welds them together. And then forming a sturdy frame, we flip it over. To ensure proper airflow for the coals, we're going to create elevations by welding washers around the perimeter. All finished, then we place the finished structure inside our stove. And now it's time for the charcoal itself. We're going to open the packages carry the charcoal to the stove. Then we're going to climb inside. And pour the coals into the center of each section. In total, we used 6 bags. Of course, we'll light them using fire starters, sprinkling them over each pile of charcoal. We spread them out a bit to help the charcoal ignite more efficiently. And then, to ignite all the solid fuel tablets quickly, we're going to use a large burner. Done. The process is started and the charcoal is heating up. Meanwhile, we're removing the plastic wrap from the dough. Afterwards, we're going to roll it back out onto the circular aluminum sheet. take off the plastic wrap but not throw it away because it's going to come in handy later. It seems like the dough stretched when we rolled it up, so we're going to trim the excess again. There. By this time, the charcoal has reached maximum heat, just what we need. And using a poker, we're going to spread the burning coals evenly across the entire structure. Finally, it is time to cook our giant tortilla. At such a high temperature, we were worried that the tortilla might burn. So as soon as the first bubbles appeared, we decided to take it out of the stove. Covered the tortilla with the second aluminum sheet on top. Now to be safe, we're going to clamp the sheets together and flip the tortilla over on the other side. We tried to lift the round sheet, but it got stuck because we removed it from the coals too soon and the crust hadn't formed yet. So we're going to have to finish cooking it on the second side. In the meantime, we're going to carefully separate the tortilla from the aluminum to avoid tearing it. Luckily, it came off successfully. While we were busy peeling the tortilla off, the coals became covered in ash and lost heat. So we need to revive them by stirring them with the poker. Once again, we're going to place our giant tortilla on top of 6 bags of burning coals. This time, learning from our mistake, we're going to cook it longer. Now look at how intensely the moisture is evaporating from it. Clearly, the temperature is very high. After 2 minutes, we check and see that the tortilla has turned golden brown. That means that it's time to take it out. Now we're going to place the round aluminum sheet on top and flip the tortilla again using the same technique. This time, it didn't stick. Everything was perfect. The tortilla has turned out beautifully with a golden, crispy crust. While it's still hot, we need to spray it with water. We're going to drizzle water evenly over all sides. Then immediately cover it with plastic wrap. This will prevent it from drying out and keep it soft and elastic. The second crucial component of the giant burrito is ready. Cheddar cheese was used to cook the original burrito. We're going to unwrap a whole chunk of it. And then cut it into smaller pieces. Next, we're going to grate the cheese using a shredder. All done. Now we're going to transfer the grated cheese into a bowl. Now let's prepare the salad. First, we're going to chop the cabbage into fairly large pieces. Done. Now we're going to toss the cabbage into a container and continue slicing until all of the cabbage is finely chopped. Finished. Now it's time for the purple cabbage. We're going to cut it in half. And since it's denser, we need to shred it as thinly as possible. Doing this with a regular knife would take forever, so I'm going to use a slicer. First, we need to remove the core, and then place the cabbage into the slicer's carriage. We're going to start the slicer and simply slide the carriage back and forth, and the cabbage gets shredded into ultra-thin pieces automatically. It is incredibly convenient. Now we're going to toss the shredded purple cabbage into the same container and keep going. In just 10 minutes, we've chopped all of the cabbage. The next vegetable is carrots. The store didn't have pre-washed carrots, so we're going to have to wash them ourselves. We're going to pour the carrots into the sink. Turn on the water and start scrubbing the dirt off of each carrot. Once it's clean, we're going to transfer it to the carrot tray. Finished. Now we need to peel the carrots. We're going to use a vegetable peeler. The first one is finished. We're going to keep going. Now we've peeled all the carrots. Now we're going to cut them. For the salad, we need very thin carrot sticks to make them pleasant to eat. We could use a knife, but this will take too long. So I bought 2 professional vegetable slicers for $100. Let's unbox them. Inside, we find a simple and straightforward device. To use it, we're going to cut the carrots into 3 pieces. We're going to place one piece inside and secure it, and then simply slide it back and forth. As a result, we get perfectly thin carrot sticks. Then we're going to continue passing the rest of the carrots through the slicer. We ended up with a huge pile of carrot shreds. Now we're going to transfer them to the container. But then I realized the container was nearly full, meaning that it would be impossible to mix the salad later. So we're going to pour exactly half the carrots into a second container. Finished. The next vegetable is red onion. First, we have to peel it. Now we're going to start by cutting off the top and the root ends and then slicing it in half. This makes it easy to remove the skin from all of the onions. Next, we're going to slice the peeled onions into half rings. And then divide the sliced onions between the 2 containers. That's all the onions done. Now, only the chili peppers are left, and we're simply going to slice them into thin rounds. All done. We're going to divide the chili slices into 2 parts and place them into 2 containers. Next, we need to add canned corn to the salad. We're going to open the can. All finished. And just like with the beans, we need to drain the excess liquid. Then add the corn to the salad. And then sprinkle the lime zest for a better aroma. Now we need lime juice, therefore we cut each lime in half. To get the juice, we're going to use this hand press. It fits 2 lime halves at once. All we have to do is squeeze the handles and the juice flows right out. This is a very convenient tool. We extract the juice from every lime. Finished. This lime juice will be the main dressing for our salad. We're going to pour most of the juice into both containers. Then we add salt, and black pepper, and cover each container with its lid. Now to mix everything quickly, we're going to simply shake the containers thoroughly. The salad is ready. Now let's make the sauce. We're going to need a lot of sour cream, so we're going to pour it into a bowl. All 11 buckets, that is. Next, we add some lime zest for aroma, the remaining lime juice for tanginess, and a pinch of salt. And then mix everything together. And the sauce is ready. Now we have everything: the giant tortilla, the sauce, the grated cheese, the salad, and the meat filling. That means it's time for the grand finale, assembling the giant burrito. First, we're going to flip the tortilla onto the table, making sure the golden crispy side will end up on the outside. We're going to peel back the plastic wrap and lift the aluminum sheet and slide it underneath. The tortilla turned out nice and elastic. Everything should work out. But just to be safe, I'm going to reinforce it with smaller tortillas. We're going to take them out of the packs and lay them evenly across the entire surface of the giant tortilla in 2 layers. Now comes the meat filling. We're going to pile it right in the center, all 80 kilograms of it. Next, drizzle our light sour cream sauce with a hint of lime over the meat. Then comes the grated cheddar cheese, spread evenly so that it fully covers the sauce. And then using a burner, we're going to melt the cheese until it's nice and gooey. Finished. Now the final ingredient, the salad. We're going to add all 20 kilograms of it. Then we're going to fold in one side, and then the second, and then the third. To prevent the filling from spilling out while rolling, we're going to layer small tortillas inside to hold everything together. Just 2 more folds, and then it's done. Thank God, it didn't fall apart. We're going to slide a wooden board underneath and carefully roll the giant burrito onto it. It's not perfect, but it seems to have held together pretty well. However, we noticed the tortilla was a bit too thick and ended up cracking at the toughest fold. It's a good thing we reinforced it with smaller tortillas, but something still feels missing. A proper burrito usually has grill marks, so to create those, my dad made a simple stamp by welding 2 pieces of metal together. I'm sure you've already guessed how this works, but first we're going to give it a thorough wash. Now, using the burner, we're going to heat up our metal stamp thoroughly and press it onto the tortilla. The red-hot metal leaves a charged stripe, perfectly imitating grill marks. We're going to continue stamping until we've reached the end. And with that, it's official. We've made the burrito 1,000 times bigger. It is absolutely massive. The entire process took 3 days and cost $2,100. After calculating the total weight of all the ingredients, we found that the burrito weighs a whopping 125 kilograms. Let's see what it looks like in the cross-section. We hit a spot with very little salad and a whole lot of chicken, but all of the layers are quite visible. Of course, there's no way we could eat this much food on our own, so following tradition, we've decided to share it with the local kids. We also brought along the remaining sauce. To make it easier to eat, we're going to tear off pieces of the giant tortilla and fill them with the meat mixture. Drizzle it with sauce, add some veggies, and roll them up into smaller burritos. We rolled up a lot of small burritos and handed them out to the kids. And of course, the kids happily start eating our burritos. It seems like they really enjoyed them. I almost forgot to taste the burrito myself, so I'm going to do it right now. It is absolutely delicious. Fresh, well-balanced, and if you hit 200,000 likes on this video, I promise to create the biggest New Year's special this year. But if this video reaches 300,000 likes, there will be 2 New Year's specials. Goodbye, everybody.